In modern coaching, why does every single motherfucker look, talk, and act completely the same? The same lifestyle, the same places, the same language, the same promises, the same emptiness perpetuated, which leaves the audience feeling defeated, distant, disconnected, and really, left wondering, is the whole alternative education, online coaching space completely cooked?
2 weeks. That's how long it took me to close a $25,000 video deal
For
starting.
you not to make way more money than what you're making right now. So
The biggest single problem is when it comes to
Top marketing
building
experts say
markets.
you haven't offered but help 10,000 agencies making investments.
Most, coaches and online entrepreneurs play the same game, and most are left quite disillusioned by it, unfulfilled, unsatisfied, and walking away with far less than they'd like. Here's my take on why this happens and why you should not participate in this kind of game. My ideas here that I'm going to express are heavily influenced by a conversation I had with my mentor, Dr. Martini, a week or two ago. And, he's one of the greatest, potentially one of the best, in my opinion, probably the best polymath that's currently alive. And he says a core idea of his is that values determine your destiny, and the more aligned you live in accordance with your unique values, the more inspired and naturally inspired that you will be. And the coaching space, more often than not, projects and injects the values of others onto you. So you get an Instagram feed of everyone that's looking the same and doing the same, wondering why you feel unfulfilled, because fulfillment actually comes from fulfilling your unique voids, not the voids of others. See, humans all live by a set of values, a hierarchy of what's most to least important to them, based on what they believe or did believe at one point in time to be missing in their life. For example, people get into the health space because at one point in time, typically they had a health crisis, big problem or challenge in regards to their health. People will become dating or relationship coaches because at one point that was a major void or problem that they had to overcome in their life. They had an event, a situation that forced them to empower themselves in that area. And people have, and coach in the business space because at one point in time they lacked money, resources, or felt powerless or restricted by the absence of a profitable business in their life. And the coaching journey, and what I would say life itself, is driven by the fulfillment of our most significant voids. And the fulfillment of those voids is what makes life inspiring and engaging, the journey of fulfilling those voids. And that's when business is typically most profitable and impactful. So here's the problem, is injected values. Injected values is when you perceive someone to be above you, and when you are too humble to admit what is in another doesn't exist inside of yourself. People that you put on pedestals that are supposedly more empowered, successful, better looking, better at making money. And so you pedestal them and you subordinate your true values below theirs, and you start trying to live inside of their values, injected values. And people get deluded by this, the supposed success of others. Think, if I just was like them, if I just be like them, if I just live inside of their values of what, they seem to think is meaningful and important and valuable, then I'll be happy and I'll be free. And this is completely delusional, because this person has a unique set of values based on their particular voids that are going to be different to yours, even if they're similar. It's fingerprint specific. So they're going to be different. And to try and live in somebody else's value system for an extended period of time is essentially suicide, because the source of all human suffering is rooted in the expectation of an individual to live outside of their values, whether it's yourself, a partner, a team member. You can only ever trust someone, and you can only ever trust yourself to do what you'll see to give you the most benefit over drawback in accordance to your specific set of values of what is truly meaningful and inspiring to you in life, the specific voids that you are here to fulfill in the living of your life. And so when we live by lower values, injected values, we retreat from the higher mind, the prefrontal cortex, and fall back into the pleasure-seeking, pain-avoiding amygdala, where we have short time horizons, no delayed gratification, less energy, no inspiration, and we live essentially in a survival mode in this futility where the world feels like it's on top of us instead of us feeling like we're on top of the world. And all these things are in complete opposition to being able to tackle the inevitable challenges and obstacles required to become quote unquote successful. But here's the thing, when you operate inside of your own values, led by what instinctually inspires and what is intrinsically meaningful to you, you'll be more independent, more self-governed, more balanced, have a greater expression, have longer time horizons, and be more equipped and willing to embrace the inevitable perfect balance of challenge and support that you will receive in the pursuing of your mission. Modern coaching appears to be in a state of poverty because everyone has abandoned the most essential thing required for them to succeed. They have abandoned their own values and are playing an unfulfilling game of copycat that destroys authenticity and inspiration. So, we're left with a question, I guess, of, well, what should I do instead? So while everyone does the same shit, posts, lives, talks, plays this great game of familiarity and copycat, your unique value system and expression is your resounding superpower. It can't be funnel hacked or copied. It cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence, and it cannot be diluted by this sea of more and more and more of the same. Consider this. The building blocks of creating a successful business are fairly simple. One, you have the universal and well-documented laws that govern human psychology of what moves humans towards certain actions. Two, you have the law of fair exchange, which governs the sustainability of all human relationships, whether in business or otherwise. And three, you have your unique value system of what's important and meaningful and inspiring to you. The intersection, utilization, combination of those three systems allow you to create something that is unique, remarkable, and uniquely aligned to who you are. And inside of these three systems, you can create whatever it is that you want, whatever lights you up, and you don't have to be another soulless merchant. And increasingly, in an increasingly more jaded and uninspired marketplace. And when people do inevitably try to copy you, which is inevitable, you'll know it's futile because they're not you. And remember, it is better to have the whole world against you than your own soul.